Hi guys, and welcome back to the channel, and today we're going to be doing my fabulous butter buns, a unique product to my market town of Dursley. Please subscribe and please share. Anyway, we'll get right on with the video. Recipe is under the video in the description. First guys, what we're going to do is put our butter, our sugar and 2 large spoonfuls of honey into a bowl. And now we're going to pop those into the microwave. Now we're going to microwave them so we're just warming them, not melting them right down to nothing. This will take about half a minute. Now we'll get them out of the microwave. Now we'll give this a good stir around. Now the idea is to dissolve as much of that sugar into the butter as you can. Once you've done this, give it a good scrape down and pop it into a fridge for around about 10 minutes. And there you go. Right, get your bowl. Now we're going to add in your warm water. Now add in your yeast. Now give this a good stir around so you dissolve the yeast into the water. When you've done that, mix up your flour and fat in a bowl. What you do is mix it all in so it's fairly thinly crumbed up. So you're mixing the sugar, your butter and everything together. So give it a good crumb round. That's it, it's looking good. Now what I want you to do is put it straight into the bowl. Now what I want you to do is get hold of your hook and give this a good mix round. So you're sort of starting to form a bit of a dough, but getting your hook down to the very bottom of the bowl. Right, now fix it onto your machine. And what you want to do is start off on first speed for around about 1 minute. Giving it a good mix round, picking up all those dry ingredients. Now what I want you to do is pop it onto second speed. Now this will be mixing for around about 9 minutes. And part way through, I'd like you to scrape down the hook and scrape down the base. This is just to make sure it's actually going around. Just test the dough. You don't want this to be too hard, but you don't want it to be sloppy. Now throughout the mixing, you can scrape the bowl down twice. And now your mix is ready. Now we'll get it off the machine. Put it onto the table and give this a little mould up into a nice ball. What we're going to do then is cover it with a cloth and leave that for around about 10 minutes. Right guys, now we're going to be scaling this off at 3 ounces. Now what I want you to do is part roll them out and split them into two. It's easier to roll them out to split them in two and you get a more even amount. There you go. And now what I want you to do is mould these up into little balls. After a bit of practice you should get the hang of this moulding up. If you can only do it with one hand, that's fine. I can only pay you half your wages. Now we're going to cover them over and leave that for around about 10 minutes. Right, next stage guys, we're going to roll them out into a saucer size. Around about 5 inches round. It doesn't have to be exactly, but it's better to be a minimum of about 5 inches. After a bit of practice, you'll get used to doing 2 at a time. I always say to my young apprentices, if you can only work by one hand, you only get half the pay. And it's amazing how quick they learn how to use 2 hands. And there we go. Give them a good sweep off to get off all the flour. And now what I want you to do is get your butter mix and spread it onto half of the circle. That's it, on half of it and then turn it over. Half of it and then turn it over. So you're sort of making like a little pasty with the butter in the middle. You don't have to be too fussy with this. And now you've done this, now you're going to do it the opposite way around. Well, your half, you're going to cut, butter it again and fold it over to make it like a quarter. Right, now what I want you to do is just put your fingers around the outside and push down on to the dough. It's just to keep the butter inside like it's a little envelope. Right, and now we'll get on and try them up. Do bake them on a baking sheet, because don't forget the butter will run out of these, so you don't want to wreck your tray. So always bake them on a baking sheet. And there you go. And one half you can pop them into the freezer or a fridge. Now we're ready to put them into a proving box. And the idea of this is just pop it into a box. I just use a straightforward cardboard box. And then what I do is I pop that into a plastic bag. Or you can do cling film, whatever you like. And basically speaking, what we're doing is we're creating its own like condensation inside the bag. So basically speaking, you don't need any water. The warmth will just make that, it'll keep the dough from actually going dry, and it creates its own moisture inside. So it's got humidity in it. And now what I'm going to do is put it into a nice warm place. Well, my baker is very cold at the moment, so what I'm going to do is pop it in the back of my transit van. And leave that in the back of my transit van for around about 1 hour. And there we go, in the back of my van. And we'll leave them in the van for around about 1 hour. Now we're ready to get them into the oven. Hopefully you've preheated your oven to 200 Celsius. That'll be plenty hot enough for these. And we're going to bake them for around about 10 minutes. Oh, we're nearly there. Right, we'll get them out. And now what we're going to do is wash them over with golden syrup and water mix. That's just to give that nice little glaze on the top. But actually what we're going to do with these is turn them over when they've gone cool. Right, that's what they look like upside down. And now we've turned them up the other way. So the bit which was on the tray is now showing us. And that's how you serve them. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is your Dursley butter buns. Well guys, I hope you enjoyed that video. I can honestly say, after making them, me and the wife, Mrs. Crazy Baker, we sat down and scoffed a lot. And it was actually beautiful. Anyway, please subscribe and please share. Do check out my playlists underneath the video. Also, that is where you'll find your recipe. Please pop over to my Facebook page at The Traditional Bakery, where you'll find recipes underneath the photo. Anyway, we'll see you again shortly in the next video. Laters!